Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the 40K Cafe, and thanks, Finn, for the request. So, as for the comment indicates, we will be talking about none other than Castellan Garran Crowe. For starters, I'm going to bring attention to the word Castellan. It is actually not a part of Garran Crowe's name. A Castellan is a champion of the Order of Purifiers amongst the Grey Knights. It is a rank that is held by the champion who leads this specific section of Grey Knights. On top of being the leader of the Order of the Purifiers amongst the Grey Knights, the Castellan champion is also tasked with being the warden and guardian of the Black Blade of Antwer or Antir. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that last word. We'll go into more detail about why this blade is so important later. Garran Crowe is an exemplar Grey Knight, and even a notable hero amongst other Astartes. His determination and loyalty to the Emperor is without question. So much so to the point that his soul is unblemished and considered immune to the temptations of chaos. Now, it is because of the fact that he has a flawless soul that he is tasked with being the guardian and keeper of the Black Blade of Antwer. This is a Chaos Demon sword that is always whispering words of temptation into Castellan Garran Crowe's ears. At every second of the day, he is constantly being tempted by the chaos forces of the warp, due to this blade always within arm's reach. The Grey Knights would originally come in possession of this blade through many trials and tribulations. For many solar days to come, they would debate what to do and the outcome of this blade. They would want to destroy it, but were unable to do it by any means. And they feared of imprisoning it or putting it away in a safe place because they believed that the demon lurking within the blade would just lure someone to it. The decision would come to be placed in the hands of the Purifiers, for within the ranks of the Grey Knights, they were considered to have the spiritual strength to resist any form of corruption. This would start the tradition into which it would go from Brotherhood champion to champion until it eventually was wielded by Garran Crowe. His resilience to the temptations of chaos as a whole, and to the Blade's temptations as well, has led the Grandmasters of the Grey Knights to believe that Garran Crowe contains a dormant strand of the gene seed from none other than the Emperor himself. Amongst the Grey Knights, Garran Crowe also looks at the Immaterium, otherwise known as the Warp, differently than the rest of his peers do. He looks at the Warp as water flowing over reality, and just that the demons lurking within it are just that, something lurking beneath the depths of the surface. Now, how did Garran Crowe truly come into possession of the blade? As I said, the blade is passed down from Brotherhood champion to Brotherhood champion amongst the Purifiers. It would eventually fall into Garran Crowe during the Battle of Sandoval II. The champion prior to Crowe would be Merritt Gavilan, who was the previous holder of the blade. Around this time, a cardinal known as Beotas Rannoch, again I'm so sorry for butchering these names, would come into possession of a Slaanesh Daemon mask. This Slaaneshi mask would end up possessing the cardinal, and the prognosticators would alert the Grey Knights, requesting the full assistance of the Purifier Order. Throughout this battle, the Blade of Antwer would go ahead and constantly wear down Merritt Gavilan, eventually to the point where he would become weakened enough that the blade would go on to possess the governor of the planet. The governor would take the blade and slay the champion. Not only would Garran Crowe personally recover the Black Blade himself, he would also personally end up slaying the Slaaneshi demon that took over the Cardinal. And with this, he would take on the eternal burden of being the bearer of the blade. Although the Blade of Antwer constantly tries to pry itself into Castellan Crowe's mind, Crowe also brings it to the prognosticators for sometimes some of the words which the blade bears upon him is actually useful. One of the pieces of information that would actually prove to be useful would arise in the year M41 888. This would lead the Grey Knights to the Battle of the Black Planet, where a Khornate demon would go on and conquer the planet. The Supreme Grandmaster of the Grey Knights, Garoniton, chose Crowe to lead an assault team to counter and remove the Khornate demon from the Black Planet. And just as a reminder, it was the blade that informed Castellan Crowe that this would happen. Castellan Crowe and his team would teleport to the planet's surface and would walk unopposed until they would reach an arena. Castellan Crowe would walk into the center of the arena and challenge the Khornate demon to a one-on-one battle. Castellan Crowe did this with the intent of giving his strike team the opportunity to seal the rents in reality that the warp was seeping through. So while the Black Blade of Antuar was constantly tempting Castellan Crowe, he would also go on hours on end to personally one-on-one duel with the Herald of Khorne. All this to provide enough time for his strike team to successfully seal the Renton reality and send the Herald back to which it came. Garran Crowe is one of my favorite Space Marines amongst the Grey Knights and an incredible individual in 40k. Thanks again for the suggestion, Finn. Let me know in the comments if there's anything you want to hear next, and as always, remember to follow for more.